it's supposed to feel.
All right, what's going on, beautiful people? It's the North Shore 9 Postgame Show. I am Tyler. With me, as always, is
Right.
Dougie Fresh. Doug, the Pirates lose this one in extras 3-2.
We're not an extra inning team. It's not our skill.
I have a gripe, Doug.
I cede the floor, Chairman. So
Mitch Keller gets to start tonight, and Jim and myself have talked about this very recently as my camera is flickering back and forth. And now my camera is not working for a second, which is just a great little intro to my issue I have going on here. Why not just anger me some more? In the sixth inning, Mitch Keller, who had been sitting about 93 miles an hour all game, showed he had a little bit of an issue. The Pirates came out. They looked at him. And mind you, Jim and I have talked about this before. We don't really need to see much more than Mitch Keller. I don't know where you stand on that, but I think
yeah, I'm with you. I'm sorry. I'm with you.
Neil was in the comments as well, saying that he has.
Enough.
We've talked about that as well. We don't need to see much more than Mitch Keller this year. And the biggest issue I have at this point right now is that I think I had this discussion last year with Denardo as well when Mitch Keller had issues with his arm and the Pirates left him out there. In the sixth inning today, Mitch Keller obviously had an issue. It was apparent to everybody, so apparent that the training staff had to come out. His velocity was down today. Command was kind of shaky, but at the end of the day, his fastball was down a mile an hour. The Pirates went out there. They decided that they were going to leave Mitch Keller in the game, probably their most important piece to their starting rotation in 2024, in a game that means absolutely nothing. They left him on the mound. The next pitch, he gives up a bomb. This team was absolutely irresponsible tonight. In my opinion, that is a fireable offense to leave Mitch Keller on the mound tonight. I don't care if he is okay or not. I don't care if he's healthy or not. Use a brain. You cannot leave it up to the athlete to tell you whether he is okay or not. That does not work. They're going to tell you they're okay.
Of course.
Use a brain. You have a week left in this season. Leaving him on the mound is the most irresponsible thing you can do. It's stupid. And whoever decided that he was okay there, I don't care if it turns out he's okay. I do not care. They should be fired for leaving him out there. It is stupid.
Right. You're 100% right that if tomorrow he's 100% fine, if he's able to start on Sunday or whatever, that should have nothing to do with the decision, right? The decision was still the wrong decision. You might get, a positive, healthy result, but absolutely it's the wrong decision. The Pirates, and they're talking it up on the broadcast and they're talking it in interviews. Oh, we're playing these games like they're, we're in the playoff hunt and we're managing these games. Well, why didn't you start doing that in May, right? Why didn't the organization act like we were in the playoff hunt in May? Because you know what? In May, we actually were in the playoff hunt. Now, when games mean nothing, we're mathematically eliminated. We're going to stretch guys out and with a little wink and a nod. Well, he wants to be able to pitch in October next year, so we're stretching him out. Come on. That's a nice fairy tale, right? You're leaving him in there so he can get some personal milestones, which I imagine a player appreciates from his manager, but it's still not the right decision. It's not the right decision. Like you said, him taking a step forward next year is the most important thing or one of the most important. I mean, we have a ton of most important things. Brian Hayes continues, blah, 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 blah. But as far as our pitching staff, him and Oviedo taking a step forward next year and being healthy going into the season are significant parts of any success the Pirates plan to have next year. We've got two pitchers at this point. Should we really be abusing one on September? What is the 26th? Whatever.
September
There's
26th.
Right. There's, counting today, 6 games left with nothing that can be accomplished other some, again, most strikeouts by a right-hander on a Tuesday when it's not really, it's not the Pirates all-time strikeout lead. It's really not the Pirates all-time right-hander strikeout because for some reason the Pirates ignore the fact that they played baseball before 1870, whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Right? It's not like he was going for his 300 strikeout. He was going for number 209. He's not going to get 200, or he shouldn't get 200 innings, but knowing the way they manage him, he'll be in there Sunday pitching 7. So yeah, I mean, I agree. You couldn't have said it better. You couldn't have made it more, made a better argument. Right. It's just, I mean, when you guys were talking about it on, you've talked about it on Starbucks a couple of times. You've talked about it in other post-game shows. At this point, if you threw him out there for 3 innings or something, I wouldn't really be mad. You want to keep him pitching. He wants to keep whatever. But, exactly. He's pitching 92 miles an hour. Clearly something's not right. Whether it's just straight up fatigue, use the err on the side, on the side of caution. So, and once again, the Pirates, they continue to make decisions that really kind of, I mean, we're already lacking confidence in our management, on-field management, general manager, and then you do things like this. It's not wise. And like you said, it might turn out just fine. It might not be a thing. But boy, would we hate to find out tomorrow he's got something going on in his elbow or his shoulder. So.
Yeah, I mean, chances are he's okay because he looked okay after that. But yeah. I thought JT Brubaker looked okay for a long time as well.
Yeah.
These things can creep up.
We brought Velasquez back, remember?
Exactly.
Right.
Here's the thing here. I have absolutely zero faith as Tom Tomczak as a trainer of this team. The guy has tossed guys back out there with just absolutely no regard for them. And not to mention, I brought it up earlier, last year, Mitch Keller was throwing like 85 miles an hour, and they just made him push through it late in the year.
Yeah.
I had the same exact argument last year. It's absolutely stupid to put him out there at that point. Honestly, as soon as you saw he's throwing like 92, 93, his fastball average was down a mile per hour. 5 innings were done. We don't need to keep doing. I do not care. And Dave did bring up in the chat here, he had a no-hitter. Maybe that's what they were thinking of. I don't care. I don't care if he had a no-hitter or not.
He wasn't going to get. There was no way he was finishing the game. He was already near 90 pitches anyway. So I mean, it would be hugely irresponsible to have to bring him out for the 7th inning or so. But I mean, at the 7th, at the 7th inning, he was going to exceed 100 pitches. If he had a no-hitter at that point, you're still not like he's not going to.
My problem is that I didn't, even after the 6th inning, I didn't have faith they were going to pull him then.
Yeah. Oh no, you just it's very odd when they decide to pull them. I mean, we've had debates. Did they pull him too soon? Did they pull him too late with him? A couple different times this season. It's I get it. You're trying to create an ace. You're trying to build an ace. And I respect that notion, but an ace has to be healthy. And look, the kid's
You're not building 32. One on September 26th.
Yeah, right. And a meaningless
means nothing.
Right.
This literally means nothing.
No. I know. Like I said, we're playing better, and we're all enjoying. Like you said it yesterday morning. It's been kind of fun to watch lately. They've looked pretty good lately. But you still, cooler, smarter heads have to prevail. The decision makers have to make decisions to protect the players.
At some point, there has to be an adult in the room.
Right. Somebody has to say, look, buddy, we love it. We love your heart. We love that you want to run through the wall right now, but we're looking out for you. We got your best interest at heart.
That's it. That's literally it. And once again, he could be fine. Yeah. Hopefully he's fine. And
Hopefully.
There's just
more than
nothing,
likely. Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about here. The risk, I don't care if it's a 1% risk, is not worth the reward here.
Right.
It's just absolutely irresponsible as a franchise.
Yeah. To me, it seems at this point you reward him and say, look, Tiger, you've been great all year. Sit down. We're going to throw one of these, we're going to bring up Jared Jones for 3 innings or, something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we don't have any pitchers. I understand, but you cannot abuse Mitch Keller or Johan Oviedo at this point. You cannot. They are so important to what the Pirates are hoping for, planning on, for next year. If one of those guys were to get hurt in one of these late season meaningless games, like you said, it's fireable, right? It's irresponsible. It's foolish. Yeah. I mean, there's, you said it. You said it clearly.
At the end of the day, if this team does not have Mitch Keller in 2024, it's another very bad year. Yeah. They need Mitch Keller. They cannot scrap together enough parts to be able to do what Mitch Keller can do for your team.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. So saying that, Mitch Keller does not need to throw on Sunday.
Right. No. Mitch Keller needs to be sent to Iowa today. Just like, hey, buddy.
We're done here, bud.
Yeah.
You had a great year.
Right.
Had him on the head. We're done. That's it. I don't care how badly you want to throw. You're done.
Yeah. Give him work toward next year. You get 200 innings next year by, pitching a little more efficiently, not going 3-on-2 and everybody.
So there was my little soapbox of the day for Mitch Keller. I guess I apologize to everybody. I've tried to be a little more positive lately and maybe point out more of the optimistic points of view, but tonight just really the second it happened, I tweeted a bunch of F words, and it is what it is. I am who I am. I'm not going to change.
Yeah. I mean, we can urge you and push you and encourage you to be more positive, but come on. We want the real Tyler, like positive Tyler. Come on. No.
Yeah. You know what? I try to
the venom. We need the venom.
I know. I try to look at the more positive things that are happening, and there were some positive tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, when I saw that, I couldn't wait to jump on the show just because I need to rip someone to shreds.
Tonight has been the first post game you've actually looked forward to doing.
I just
you wanted to rip someone a new one.
I needed to rip somebody. And I wasn't even as venomous as I really wanted to be.
No, you were very measured. I'm impressed. Because I was expecting the F-bombs. But okay.
You know what it is? I'm 30 now. I'm getting old.
You're a man. Right. No. That's just 10 years. You got 10 years.
Calm down, Mike Gundy.
Yeah. Right. So
all right.
It's going to take you 10 years to grow that mullet. So you got
time. Ain't no mullet being grown out of this head anymore. The grades are growing before that. All right, on to the game here, though.
Prior to that, Mitch Keller had pitched well.
Yeah.
Little labored through the first inning, but then got going a little.
Got
the strikeouts.
Not really efficient, a little bit erratic, I would say.
Right. Yeah.
Velocity, like I said, was down.
Right.
But results-wise, he got swings and misses. Everything worked for him. It's just the velo wasn't there, and you combine that with that 6th inning madness, and old Ty guy got a little angry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully a good end to the season by Mitch Keller.
Yeah. It's fine, right? He gave up 2 really good hitting team, and that's when his velocity was 92. So
yeah. So I guess
he labored
to ask you this, Doug, here. If this was Mitch Keller's last start, what would you say about his season?
I've been a little disappointed, to be honest with you, because he started out so great. And then even while he was still getting wins, he was not having. I remember I was in the chat, and it was and Jim was in it as well. I can't remember who was doing the post game, but it was a game we'd won. But he gave up 5 runs, maybe gave up a bunch of hits, and I'm like, and this was like the second. I'm like, is anyone else getting nervous? And Jim told me to bite my tongue, but and then it started progressively. He kind of didn't look as good, and then he had some really bad. But it's soft contact, and then it got to be hard contact, and now, I mean, I'm at the same place with Hayes somewhat. It's like, hey, you've shown me what you can do. You've shown me how dominant you can be. I can't go back to mediocre, to mediocre Mitch Keller. I can't go back to just an average hitter, Brian Hayes. But it's hard to ignore. I mean, he struck out 210, 211 guys. He took the ball every start. He went 5 innings every start except his first start, where he went 4 2/3 innings. So he like 31 starts in a row. All very positives. The minute someone around here starts having a little bit of success, and then maybe takes a step back, we all, we're Pirates fans, and we're so, a step back seems like it might be, this is the end, it's over. We had a good 2 weeks with John Nagowski, and we've had that a million times, so, but Mitch Keller, it's part of the growing pains of becoming a very good starting pitcher. He's had some really dominant and great outings. I'd honestly like to see him, use less of his repertoire, right? Sometimes I think he gets a little too cute. It was nice to see him have a good outing with Endy behind the plate, because the last time that did not go well.
I mean, you're right. I think most of his good outings lately have been with delay.
Right. Well, I think Endy has caught him that one time, and it was terrible. He gave up 10 runs or something, and that was not Endy's fault. But you want him to have confidence pitching to Endy. And I mean, it's been a really good season. And he made the All-Star team. What has he won? 12 games, 13 games. He's, he's been a really good pitcher, really reliable, which is something we haven't had. Guys taking the ball that many times. We haven't had that in a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, he obviously gets a big thumbs up for this season. There's room to grow. He definitely needs to develop some consistency. You feel like I kind of see the old Mitch, from a couple of years, come out every once in a while. He goes 3-2 and everybody just gives up. It's like, how did he just give up 8 hits all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think you're on the disappointing is the word that I would probably use. Looking back at it all, and you look at his final numbers, if this is his last start, which, like I've already mentioned, I think this probably will be.
I hope so. 4.21 ERA for the year.
Yeah, I would. I'd probably call it a hair disappointing just because of how he started. But I also think that there's something to be said about this team has used him more as an innings eater than they would on a better team. Like those 10-run starts that we've ran into every now and then. On a better team, he's not being left out there to just try to gut through it.
Jim and I discussed that sometime last week. That if he wasn't the only pitcher we had, with a pulse somewhat, he wouldn't have had to go 6 innings. We would have got him out, and we would have got him out there in the 4th after he gave up 4 runs or something like that. But we've needed more than anything else. We've needed innings from him. And he delivered. He proved to be solid, dependable, and now he just needs to get consistency. And I think if we can get some other starters in the rotation with him next season, and where we don't have to count on him to be, some knuckleballer that pitches, both ends of a doubleheader, and that he can sort of maybe go all out a little bit more and exactly. Just, if he has a bad start, we can get him out, and it's okay. We don't, we'll survive. We can muddle through instead of just like, oh no, not only has this been a terrible start by him, but now we've gutted the bullpen and we won't have anyone to pitch for the next 3 days. So
yeah, unfortunately, it's almost been like every time Mitch Keller's been out there, it doesn't matter how he looks, you have to leave him out there.
Right.
Which hopefully won't be a detriment to his future.
Yeah.
But the future will decide that.
Yeah.
And
hopefully it's not a pattern. Right.
I apologize to everybody, but we are 20 minutes in and we have not even talked about how the Pirates got walked off.
Yeah.
So the Pirates did get walked off today.
They
do lose 3-2. But in my defense here as a host, it was an extra innings game. And I just throw those out the window because I don't discredit any reliever who gives up a run in extra innings. Because the extra running rules are just so stupid.
Right. And most teams can play some form of small ball, especially when they know they only have to score one.
Especially when you're home.
Right. You're at home. You know that the Pirates didn't score. And all you got to do is get that guy from second in. And that's what they did. I kind of had a rant I wanted to go to. I'll save it for some other time. A team that doesn't hit home runs very, very well, doesn't hit very well, doesn't do – I mean – and we talk, the lack of fundamentals on this team is just atrocious. And the fact that you can't move guys over and, you know.
Doug, let's just talk about it right now because Connor Joe comes up.
Yeah.
First and second. Connor Joe's the guy I like a lot. I think Connor Joe does a lot of things very well. You got to be able to move the runner over.
Right.
It doesn't matter how you do it. You got to find a way to do it. I know bunting is really not his forte there.
No, he's never had a sacrifice hit.
But you're a Major League Baseball. Right. You're not a power hitter. You're not David Ortiz. You better know how to bunt.
Right.
And honestly, it's not hard to teach a guy to bunt. Right. It's not that hard.
For these circumstances, right? This is the 12th time this year we've been in extra innings.
This is 2023 Major League Baseball, Doug.
Right. This is it. It's here.
You have to know how to do it.
Yeah. And again, we don't have Baum, Trey Turner, Harper, Ryu coming up, right? We've got Connor Joe and then like 4 rookies, you know, and it's like somebody. Somebody. And I mean, it's not just okay. You know, Connor Joe is not a quick little guy who's going to slap stuff down, but our guys that fit that description, they can't bunt either. There is nobody on this team that. I mean, I was happy that Triolo was coming up. He got walked. But I'm like, oh, if anyone will move him over, it'll be Triolo.
Yeah.
But he got walked, and so that was our only guy that has situational hitting, ability, awareness, sense, technique, whatever. And right, the Pirates should play every spring training game next year as if it's extra innings. There's a man on second. You know what I'm saying? They should have the whole team. Nobody should be swinging a bat. They should just be bunting spring training.
I understand not bunting a guy over when you're the away team in extra innings, the guy on second. I get that because the home team's going to have a guy on second as well.
Right.
You get the guy at first, just move him over, damn it.
Yeah.
Just move him over. And that's, to me, that's an organizational issue right there.
Yeah.
They're not doing it enough.
I mean, I ask you this every show. What are they teaching in the minors? Our players come up here they don't know how to do anything.
It takes 3 days to teach a dude how to bunt. Right. It's not hard.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's difficult, but it's a lot less difficult than hitting.
Right. It's very difficult. It's incredibly hard. However, it's easier to learn that than to lace a double to the gap. Okay. So, and again, I mean, of course, I grew up with that kind of get them on, get them over, get them out. That was the baseball I grew up on. And it just kills me that we don't have, we don't have leadoff hitters that we bunt. We don't have those 8th and 9th hitters who, like, at least, like, if you're a 2-0-2 hitter, at least have the ability to move runs over, move a runner over. It's like, okay, you're probably not going to get them in, right? That's not what your skill set is. You're a bad middle infielder. We're not counting on you for either your glove or your bat. But how about being able to bunt, right? And
I mean, even then, if I'm not mistaken, Alika Williams was on the bench, right?
Yeah.
You could probably just do that there.
Right.
Like if Connor Joe cannot move the 2 guys over there with no outs, And I understand Andy Rodriguez is coming up, who has really struggled at the plate. And maybe they do have more faith in Connor Joe at that point. I think I have more faith in Andy Rodriguez to just put a baseball in the air.
Right.
And like I said, it's different because there are runners at first and second.
Right.
Just get them over at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. If you have
Once Alika
second and
sent
third,
down,
and then
Alika was sent down. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My
that's
brain's
true.
off.
That's true. I mean, I was sitting there going right along
Yeah.
with you because I'm like, oh, that's right, because he was
Yeah.
raised in another
My brain's just
organization.
not
He
functioning
can
tonight.
bunt. Right.
I'm sorry. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Alika was sent down. Find a way to get the guy over.
Yeah.
What a terrible, just little comment I had there. Good Lord. I'm going to beat myself over that for the rest of the year.
I was going to suggest we have Jay Bell bunt him over. So
well, that works still.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. I mean, right, and it's borne out in the results. We are 3-9 in extra inning games, and I would tell you a large part of that is because we cannot move runners over. Yeah, right, and we had a stretch. I mean, well, Henry was hitting well, but right, it was like, okay, it's Connor Joe who has been playing kind of well lately, but Andy has just looked awful. I mean, maybe you pinch hit for Andy in that situation. Maybe you bring in Andahar. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but
at the very least, I think I want Andy in that situation there because that's another growing moment for him.
It's a learning experience. No, I agree, but man, I mean, they've got to do better, right? I mean, this is stuff that it's fundamental baseball. There's no reason that you're not at least practicing it. I get it. Maybe at AA, you don't want anyone bunting or, whatever, but you can still, you can work on it on the side with a coach, right? You can work on it in batting practice.
How to freaking bunt. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I don't want to keep going back to this. It's not that hard, but it's really not that damn hard.
Yeah. No. I remember I was asked to bunt once in a game. It was high school. I'd never done it, and I didn't know what to do. And I embarrassed myself, popped it up on it. And then I went to our coach and said, okay, I need it, and yeah, it was like 2 or 3 days later. I was completely comfortable getting a bunt down. It wasn't that, that overwhelming a task. I'm not obviously playing it anywhere near this type of level, but I mean, again, how baseball's played now, they want you to sacrifice, really, right? They're just trying to get outs at this point. So they're going to cooperate with you. If you bunt to us, we're just going to throw to first base because we want to take no chances with,
Yeah, I'm with you. But I think I've beat down the Pirates enough. Let's talk a little positive here, Doug. Brian Reynolds goes deep today.
Yes.
I'm very happy to see Brian Reynolds hitting the ball well. And he really has for a couple months now.
It's like 2 months now, right?
And I feel like I say it every time I jump on the postgame show where I was concerned. I was a little bit concerned about Brian Reynolds.
Oh,
there were points in my life where I thought,
yeah,
I think he'll turn it around. But I was concerned about maybe 2 years from now with that contract.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel pretty good about Brian Reynolds.
Right, I do too. I think. I mean, he looks primed to have a big year next year, right? It's maybe he's got some stuff figured out, and we surround him, a little bit. He's kind of been, a lot of times our leadoff hitter hasn't been very effective. He's been easy. Our third hitter hasn't been. He's been easy to sort of pitch around. It seems like we're filling out the lineup a little better now. Cruz will be back. And if Cruz is batting leadoff, there should be some opportunity there for him. He has finished really strong. That we couldn't expect it. I mean, we were mostly pretty sure he wasn't going to hit 20 home runs in, July. We're like, man, you'd said it, he's got to be like a 25 home run guy. And we didn't think at that point there was any chance that he would be that this year. And he probably still won't be, but I think he's 22 now. And we didn't think he was going to break 20. So he has come on strong. It's been consistent. I think he's been on base now 25, 26 games in a row.
He's at 24 now.
24. Okay. Yeah. I mean, outstanding. Homered off a pitcher that was pitching well. Yeah. Very, very, very pleased with what we're seeing from Reynolds. And, a lot of times he's like, people finish strong late. And but this isn't a hot 2 weeks. It's not a hot month now. We're getting to 8-9 weeks of just solid, hitting. So yeah, I look forward to what he can do next year.
Yeah, we're talking about a guy that's going to finish the year hopefully over an 800 OPS.
Right.
Like, that's a really good baseball player.
That's a good baseball player. And considering that didn't he get to 590 or 6? I mean, it was low. It was bad.
He was bad for a while.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't know if he got that low, but it might have been he might have been sub 7 at one point, but
I think maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was 690, but right. I mean, and to be, like I said, now he's got a strong possibility of finishing over 800. You'll take that, and it'd be nice to see it. I mean, it comes down to what we're saying about all of our, Jack Sawinski. If he could do that as a consistent player, not just peaks and valleys. To Brian Hayes.
Brian Reynolds has done it consistently.
And right, Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds has done that.
It's like the Hendy again.
Yeah. I'm just, at this point, I'm hoping, next year we get the 2020 or 2021, Brian Reynolds, 6.5 award type, all-star, the whole shebang. Yeah. That starts early and stays late.
All right. One more guy I just want to talk about.
Got to talk about Henry.
We got to talk about Hank.
Yeah.
I don't quite know where I'm at with him right now. I think we've seen since he's come off the rehab assignment, I think he's done a little bit better of laying off the slider away, because that was his kryptonite for a very long time.
Right.
And we're going to see pitchers pound him in. Everybody throws the fastball into Henry Davis. And until he can really prove that he can pull that baseball fair, because we see a lot of things that just go foul that he hits 112 miles an hour. We saw him break a camera today.
Into a camera, right?
Exactly. We saw him break camera today. But he does pull a lot of inside pitches foul. He's not quite able to get his hands inside of it. But then we see the home run where he's able to pull his hands inside of it. So I think we're starting to see a few steps from him. I do have full faith that Henry Davis is going to be a good hitter at the major league level. I just don't quite know how good it's going to be.
Right. And you'd said it on Starbucks yesterday, same thing. Like, we need him more than anything else. We need him to be a good hitter. Of all the rookies, he's there for his bat, especially now if we're going to put him in right field or if we're going to put him at DH. He can't be a mid hitter, right? He's got to, you said it, he's got to be a 30 home run. He's got to be 100 RBI. He's got to be an 800 OPS guy. He has to be. We took him 1-1. We took him for the advanced college bat.
Especially without a position. Now he's really got to hit.
And when that was coming at the catcher position, you're like, oh my God, that's spectacular. But now it's coming from corner outfield or DH. So, and I mean, my belief is that we re-sign McCutchen, but after McCutchen's gone, and McCutchen will play less next year, but when he does retire, it's pretty easy to see Henry, being pushed right over to the DH spot. So if he's going to be even if it's part-time DH, part-time right fielder, he's got to be a hitter. He's got to be an elite hitter. And the talent's clearly in there. And I'm with you. Right. Last week of the year, I'm not going to get too excited about anything. But there are signs, right? And signs that we hadn't seen since that 2-homer game against Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
So it's been a while, right? You had the terrible slump, the injury, came back and looked, 6 straight strikeouts or something to that effect. And now he's getting a hit or two, and he's got 2 home runs, and he looked good tonight. That was maybe clutch isn't the right word, but it was certainly an important home run. It tied the game. It was not garbage time. It wasn't any of that kind of stuff that we like to dismiss or poo-poo. He should play the next 5 games, and hopefully, again, there's nothing you can really take from it, but if it's something that makes him feel better, because none of us doubt that he's going to work really, really hard, in the off season. They know major league pitchers have made their adjustment. It's his turn.
I'm completely with you. I don't know if I could add any more to that.
No.
And if you want to hear me talk about Henry Davis more, just listen to Starbucks.
Go to Starbucks. They had a great conversation.
I don't know that I need to add more to it. All right, Doug. I think we talked enough tonight.
We have, again, limited subject matter tonight. So,
yeah. Hey, 5 games left.
Right.
You guys will see me again tomorrow. I'm pulling 4 days in a row.
Nice.
I'm
not back till Sunday, the last game of the year. I didn't think I'd get
prime time.
I didn't think I'd get a prime time.
Dougie Fresh.
I thought that would be big 3, but what do I know?
Prime time, Dougie Fresh.
Yeah,
time.
Exactly. I may do something
Doug.
special. I don't know. All right.
Yeah. Let's get the hell out of here.
Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, go listen to Starbucks if you haven't already. It was a good show.
Yeah, it was average. I was long.
Yeah.
I was tired.
Yeah.
Steelers had just played the night before.
Yeah,
I was worn out.
I know. And of course, Steelers did what the Steelers do.
Yep, they
started
made me
running out the clock. Started running out the clock with 14 minutes left.
Yep.
Let them back in.
All right, let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're out of here. Pirates lose 3-2. We will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.